Once again, we welcome you to our special profile interview on Salam Media Mid-Morning Talk with Najma Khota. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome and greet our very special guest, Dr. Fatimah Lambat, specialist anaesthetist. Assalamu alaikum, dearest Dr. Fatimah.
Walaikum salam. Jazakallah for inviting me on your show.
It's our pleasure. Dr. Fatimah, you know, there is this very special feature that you've managed to accomplish. I call it a feature because there's many features and levels of what you do in terms of a professional medical health practitioner. And I think your name became a bit more known during COVID and the difficulties that people had in terms of the healthcare system and, of course, just not being able to save enough lives. That's what it actually came down to. And as a healthcare professional, that is a priority. So I know you as that Dr. Fatimah Lambert. And I think everyone else perhaps tuned in this morning is also familiar with that Fatima. But let's find out from Dr. Fatima, where did she grow up? What's the background like? And yeah, talk to us about yourself, Fatima.
So I've been in the South all my life. So I'm a South girl. I'm not a North girl. I actually find it very difficult to come to the North. So
Proudly so, if I may say so.
I was in Roshni for about 12 years and then I moved to Lenasia. And I'm currently in Lenasia and I love Lenasia. I went to a Muslim school, Lenasia Muslim school, and I matriculated there. And then started my career at FITS. At the age of 5 years old, I already knew what I want to become, a doctor, and all I wanted to do was help people. In fact, my mom used to say everyone else used to ask for Barbies or dolls, and I used to ask for a stethoscope and an injection. So from the age of 5 years old, I knew what I wanted to become. And Alhamdulillah, Allah granted me that opportunity. In fact, I feel it's an honor that Allah has bestowed on me to serve His fellow servants and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's Ummah. So it's actually an honor. And then I went to Witwatersrand University in Johannesburg, and I've done my. So it was a long journey of 14 years. I did. My undergraduate, which you become a doctor, then you specialize, which I became an anesthetist. And I became an anesthetist, in fact, to do intensive care. So intensive care is more specialized, and it's to look after the critically ill patients. And thus, I did my fellowship later on at Charlotte Maxeke Johannesburg Academic Hospital. And then currently, I'm a specialist anesthesiologist. I do a bit of ICU at Lenmed. I work quite a few hospitals, but I'm also on the South African Society of Anesthesiology Council, and I do a lot of projects on this council, and there's a big project that we are doing something to do with outreach, which I'm excited about because that's something that I asked Dr. Intia Suleiman also to help me with. So that's also something that's I'm busy working on, inshallah.
So can you share that information with us? I'm excited to hear about it.
So currently it's still in its beginning stages, and it's. So I can just share a bit because we're going to launch it officially after May. But
Okay.
it's essentially the goal is to help our healthcare system, because you must remember with COVID, even before COVID, our waiting list for simple surgeries such as inguinal hernias, and it is 6 months, 12 months, and now it's gone to 2 years. So we want
Oh
to
my.
try. Yeah, and we want to try and help the state system to try and bring them into a private system with doctors, with staff, with clinics who are able to assist us pro bono so that we can help the state and help our community, our citizens, so that they can get their surgeries done, and instead of waiting for so long. So, inshallah, it's something that is in the beginning stages, and our first meeting is in May, but inshallah, um, there will be something that we will be doing in the future.
Well, that is already a very good reason for me to have you on the program. And this is why I knew there was something really special about you in terms of how you think as a healthcare professional. And with, of course, I'm sure your colleagues and counterparts have the same mindset. It's just that there are limitations and resources are not really available. But what I love about what you do is that you take on the initiative and you follow through with it, because we all feel a bit saddened about the system itself, and when we see that people are held back just because they can't afford to be treated on time, if this is what we're talking about, apart from just waiting in queues all day. So yeah, and I want to expand on the healthcare system a little later in our talk. However, this that you're talking about excites me so much. We just want to all become a part of what you're doing, because we are so aligned, and I think a lot of people are aligned. And I'm sure, Fatima, in your time during COVID and having all of those challenges and taking on the initiative again, I'm sure you've had many people step up as well.
So many. So when I introduce or when I speak about that project up until today, I'll say for the community, by the community.
Hmm.
If I can tell you what happened in the beginning, where it was just a handful of us. So what happened was, there was Lanesia is a very big community, and everyone was so excited to assist and everything. But when I suggested my project, there was a lot of healthcare professionals in it. They didn't feel like this is going to work, and they were very stressed out. And so I handpicked a few healthcare professionals, such as Dr. Manga, Dr. Fatimah Lambat, my sister, Pulsate, Physio for You, Dr. Ibrahim Patel, Dr. Tuira Dokrat, Dr. Reza Ibrahim. All of them came in and said, Fatih, we want to help you. And they all helped, each in their own way. And then we thought, okay, where are we going to get donations from? And that's so I asked Dr. India Sulman. He's a lovely man, and he is my hero, and he's someone I aspire to be. So I think he's my role model, and that's why I have that values aligned like him. Um,
Excellent.
yeah, so and he explained to me, Fatih, this is such a big project. I don't know, just wait for me. I'm going to open WhatsApp and then I'm going to phone you. So I said, Dr. Imtiaz, I said, Imtiaz, I don't think I can wait for you. And then I went back with Dr. Manga and Dr. Safia and Sohail Manga. How can I forget him? Sohail Manga is the attorney who's Dr. Manga's brother, who assisted us tremendously. And then Councillor Imran came. And when we started, it was going to be a mammoth task, because it's actually starting a whole hospital, in fact, a high care, almost to ICU hospital. And you need to think about, if anyone passes away in your facility, you need to be on the ball. You needed to think about food, you needed to think about isolation, cubicles, privacy, monitors, beds, everything. And the minute I spoke to Imtiaz, that this is security, because you must remember it's in the residential area. So we were so stressed about people complaining that, what, the schools are going to start. So we had to make sure that there's security. So there was, so let me tell you, so initially we were like, okay, Dr. Manga, Dr. Safia, and myself said, we'll take out from our savings, and this is what we're going to do. We'll help the community. Allah will give us, and this is what we're going to do. And
Mashallah.
but Alhamdulillah, that's not what we needed to do. I
Right.
think a week before I opened the facility, I just called on the community and I said, this is what we want to do. And Alhamdulillah, Nur al Islam, Mulana Rabat, and all the Mulanas, they happily gave their venue, because even looking for a venue was so difficult. No
I
one
can
wanted
imagine.
a venue because everyone was afraid of COVID at that time. And Mulana and them were so helpful. In fact, it's a story, because on that morning, my sister phones me and says, Fati, what are we going to do? And she was in tears, and I was in tears, and we were like, fine, then you know what? We're just going to go to the houses. What else must we do? And and then I phoned Dr. Manga, and he's in tears, and and he's like, no, Fati, we're going to do this. And I'm like, okay. I had a patient afterwards, but before that, I read Zohar, read 2 rakats, Salat Lajat, and I said, Allah, it's your servants, it's your banda. If you think this project is good for them, then assist us. If you do not think it's good for them, then assist us in a way where it's easier for us to go to the houses, because it's so difficult going in and out. Like this is going to be everyone in one area. And then that same night after Maghrib, I'll never forget, we were going to look at another venue. And I said, this venue is not going to work because it's a house, and the government's definitely going to close us down if we were here. And Mulana Rawat, as I finished my lesson at about 6:30, and I'm driving towards Councillor's house to discuss the venue. And Mulana Rawat phoned us, and they gave us Nur al Islam. So everything comes from Allah. We can say, no matter, even if we have that initiative, at the end of the day, everything comes from Allah, and we all are aligned. It's our iman that all aligns us in terms of our values and our principles and what we want to do. And then when I found the community, when I called the community, we just send out WhatsApp groups. So first, WhatsApp messages. Initially, we had a meeting in Nur al-Islam, and I promise you, we didn't have to give 1 cent. There was people who donated, Jamiyat and Ashraful Aid donated food for free. In fact, there was a lot of aunties in our community that actually donated, and they were actually fighting to give the food and get that.
Alhamdulillah.
And you know what's the other thing is, our cleaners were people who have Porsches and big cars. Those were our cleaners, and they were happy and they were smiling, and they were coming to clean our facility 3 times a day. You don't even have that in a normal healthcare system, but you had this community for 2 months coming to clean in at 3 times a day. And when I would do my rounds at 8 at night, I would see them there coming to dawn. They weren't scared. They came, and everyone was so happy, and it was like almost like a family that we had here. And obviously, I have to mention also our assistants. I mentioned Balsaid, I mentioned the doctors from China. So they are doctors that studied in China and then came back, and they were waiting for their boards. And they also were so willing to help us. And they used to do the night shifts, because I was there the whole day and the whole night, but I needed to go out. I was on my other job. So they assisted us a lot. So it was just a sense of community. And that's why when I speak about this project, I actually say for the community, by the community. Yes, it was I who headed it. It was Imtiaz, who was amazing. And when that truck came to Nur al-Islam, it was like we were all in tears. We were so happy. And Imtiaz is a person where you just phone him and you say, I need this here. And he's like, there's it. Next day, you get everything. I got top of the range monitors for my patients. I got the best beds you can ever get for my patients. Whatever I required from Gift of the Givers, I got. The community themselves, they gave blankets. So I had maybe 3 sheets of blankets. I had dry cleaners, Uncle Sam's dry cleaners doing it for free. So you can imagine what a huge community commitment this was, and how happy they were to actually go on with this project.
Right. Dr. Fatima, you've left me speechless. I knew this was special, but I didn't know how special it was. So much so that you've moved me to tears. So we need to go for a break.
I was almost in tears.
Nothing less than a masterpiece.
Really?
Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Southern Africa Dawah Network is a non-profit organization striving to uplift the disadvantaged and empowering through education and dawah. Donate to the SADN centers, the M.A. Motala Islamic Center, as well as our Islamic centers in Amoti, Imtalumi, Botshabelo and Castile. Donate your zakat and lillah today. Contact Farooq Sheikh 076-321-0650, Yusuf Mohammadi 072-259-3457, or the SADN head office 031 304 8000. Our account, Standard Bank, account number 050-856-294 for your zakat, or 050-879-790 for your lillah. Dawah through education, education through dawah, the Southern Africa Dawah Network.
Share the love this Eid by donating to the Eid Dream campaign with Penny Appeal South Africa. Join us for the 5th consecutive year of providing joy and happy faces for Eid by gifting an Eid box to an orphaned or vulnerable child. For just 400 Rand, you can be the reason they smile. Donate today, www.pennyappeal.org.za, or contact 063 293 8737 for more information. Penny Appeal, small change, big difference.
Freedom Stationery supply Marlin and Marlin Kids pens to me and my school friends. They supply just about everything we need to help us get a better education, from books to files to rulers. In fact, any any accessory we need. Freedom Stationery. Education for the nation. What does accessory mean?
In the aftermath of the tragic earthquakes in Syria and Turkey, thousands of survivors are struggling and in need of food, shelter, and life-saving aid. This Ramadan, take a closer look at the countless lives that have been turned upside down. You have the power to help. Your donation is the lifeline, a beacon of hope in an otherwise hopeless situation. Please donate today. Visit donate.unhcr.org/RamadanZA.
With so many investment options today, it's only natural that you might feel a little confused which route to take. Should I buy shares or should I invest in gold bullion? Randery Jewelers now brings you the Zahab coin, an alternative to the Kruger Rand. The Zahab coin, a solid wealth protector in its purest form of 24-karat gold, is the safest way to protect your wealth. So don't just sit there and watch your paper money depreciate. Change to gold. Call Randery Jewelers now at 031 202 4701 or visit www.rjcoin.co.za, situated at 151 Essenwood Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust. Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
Specialist anaesthetist Dr. Fatimah Lambat is our special guest on our profile interview this morning. You know, we all have an innate quality and ability to want to serve and go the extra mile. But then to actually put it into motion is, you know, we think about it, we do it. Somehow or the other, someone's doing something, and especially in the month of Ramadan, we become a bit more heightened in that sense. You know, our spirituality is heightened, and this need to want to serve is heightened. But what I find incredibly motivating and very inspirational is that when one takes one's profession and turns it into a means or a vehicle to serve. And this is why Dr. Fatimah Lambat stands out for me as one of those people that has converted her vocation into her avocation, which is so unique and wonderful. Dr. Fatimah, where does that passion to serve come from?
So, from young, my parents always groomed us. Like, they knew we wanted to become doctors, and they used to say, but you need to serve the community. You need to serve the community. And I think I have this where you'll hear from my family and my parents and my everyone, my husband and everyone, they'll say, Pati, you just want to do, you just have a big heart. I think it's just how you grow up, your iman. I always say your iman. When you every step you take it for Allah. Even when you looking after patients, even when I put in a drop, you always think about Allah. So if you're going to have that mindset, you will only want to serve the community, because I feel if you sit and all you do is I'm doing this patient for money. And I know a lot of colleagues are like that, or well, not a lot, a small percentage is like that. Most want to help, but if you're going to do this just for money, it's you're not here for that existence, just for financial means. Our existence is different. We need to. It actually gives me, if I'm not doing for people, I actually get depressed in a way. It gives me a sense of fulfillment that I am helping someone. And if it's only for myself, I don't get that sense of fulfillment. So you actually go down the depressed road.
Mm.
And I think that's just the way we are. We here in this community. And as I said, I think our iman is the foundation of this.
How much of the community you live in has influenced the way you think and act as a professional
A
and as a
lot.
member of the community? Sorry,
A lot,
yes.
because
Mhm.
I'm in a community where even potholes, there's someone who bought the machine to serve the community. So that's even potholes. And then they go on a Sunday, and then they say, okay, guys, we're going for potholes. We're going to go fix it up. So we don't wait. It looks like our community doesn't wait. So I'm in that community who doesn't wait. So they will go and fix up potholes like that. Then we have cleanup campaigns here, where they say come, and everyone comes. Everyone comes, no matter what race you are, what religion you are, who you are. Everyone is there. And it's so nice because you're in that community. That's why I'm telling you I like the South, because I'm raised in this community.
Mm.
You can see even in Roshni and Vereniging, there was a strong community presence in COVID. So they also had a very strong community presence there. So I mean,
Mm.
like the community influences you a mile, because if you don't have this community support, you are not going to be able to like you say, you want to take this initiative and everyone wants to help, but they don't know in which way. So yes, Allah makes you a means as a leader, and then you have your community support, because without them, no, you can't do anything. And
Correct.
that's a big thing.
Right. And in your study years, what were your challenges?
So I got married at an early age, and I had a child at about 22. So that was my challenge. But
Hmm.
I had a good support structure, and that helped me. And compared to other people, I would say that I used to sit in my house and study instead of going out. So I never ever went out with friends or did anything. But there wasn't a challenge. I actually enjoyed it, and I chose to do that. And then the one challenge that's a big thing, especially when you go to uh, um, in a non-Muslim environment, is to keep up your akhlaq, to keep up your deen, to wear a scarf. And I'm going to say this because it's a big challenge to be a
Good to me.
Muslim female with wearing a scarf and trying to do something in an environment who is not used to seeing someone who's covered, who loves to be covered. I was never forced to wear a scarf by my parents or anyone. I chose to do that. So
Mm.
it's very difficult to influence people, and it's very difficult to work in that environment. But all I do is take guidance from Allah. I make dua, and I'm a very powerful person. So I don't listen to noise. I block out the noise, because that noise can put you down. and then you won't
Got
be
it.
able to do what you need to do. So I don't listen to the noise. People will tell me you cannot do this, this is not possible, this is too much. I'll say no, I don't listen to the noise. If that avenue is not working, I'll go to another avenue, and inshallah, with Allah's help, you will come right. And I think a lot of people who want to help, that's the issue that they find in their lives, where we working in a place where we're not taken seriously, or in our accents, we don't have the correct accent or the correct English or whatever it is. So we are viewed as the inferior people. But I always say, do not think about that, because you shouldn't listen to noise. You should block out noise, and you have that initiative. And if the one avenue closes, there's going to be another avenue. Try it, and you will be able to do it. And that's even on the council that I'm in. That's how I think, and that's why they said they actually put me on the council, because I'm not scared of anyone. I'm not scared if there is another race or someone who thinks they're superior to me. What I feel that will need to be done, I will push my view. I will say this is what needs to be done, and this is what I think is good for our council, for our community, for our country. And that they always tell me that they're party, because of that you are on this council.
Right. So
And
where does it?
give people advice.
Right. Where does that confidence come from, Dr. Fatimah?
It took a long time. It took a long time, because you must remember, we're also in a society where you get put down a lot, especially in our Indian community. A lot of males get intimidated. But I think as the years go by, you think, what is your priority and what do you want in life? And when you think, I think I'm telling you, all my life, all I think is about Allah, and all I do is make dua. And I say, Allah, if this is good for the community, if this is good, then take it, then let it be. This must not make me arrogant, and this must make sure, you must make sure that I'm doing it for the community and not for myself. And I think a lot of that confidence comes from that.
What shaped your thinking in that direction?
I think I would still go back to my iman, and then also your spouse.
Environment, right?
My environment.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say my
Yes.
spouse.
Right.
He's also on the same thinking as me. So
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So he also has a big heart, So if you in that same environment, because your spouse influences you a big way. Right. So if he was a person who'd say, no, I don't think you should give to this person, or I think we should do this here, but he's not like that. He also has a very big heart, and he feels we need to give to people. So I think that's the environment. Then my parents and my sisters and my siblings, my brother-in-laws, I mean, you can see we all do for each other, and it starts in the home. That's what I
Right.
feel. It's in the home. Once you all together and you all do for each other, and you don't worry about financial or material things, and you know that this is the love, muhabbat, compassion, then you will actually extend that to the community, because that's essentially what we are here on this earth.
Indeed. After this break, we find out from Dr. Fatimah about being in a male-dominated profession and a hijab-wearing female doctor.
Yeah.
Donate your zakah to Ashraful Aid. Your zakah can help feed an orphan, support a widow, build a home for a refugee family, sponsor a HIF student, and much more. With Ashraful Aid, you can make a real difference. Visit our website at www.ashrafulaid.org to make a donation. Make your Ramadan meaningful with Ashraful Aid.
At Centio, our Invest for Good philosophy is based on a genuine desire to use our investment skills for the benefit of broader society by investing responsibly, giving charitably, and developing talent that will transform the investment industry. Visit www.centio-capital.com For more information about our Sharia investment products and start saving with us today. Sentio Capital. Invest for good. Sentio Capital Management is an authorized financial services provider.
Send food and send kindness to those who have lost their homes and have been plunged into poverty. For those who are a meal away from starvation, a food parcel means an entire family can eat this Ramadan. That's the power of food. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
These days, I'm more health conscious than ever. So tonight it's stir fry for dinner, cooked in healthy Helios pure sunflower cooking oil. Helios is pure sunflower goodness, packed with omega-6. That's good for your heart. And is approved as part of the Heart and Stroke Foundation eating plan.
Dinner's ready!
Helios, pure sunflower cooking oil. A healthy family is a happy one.
When someone is down in the world, surviving on the smallest means possible, an ounce of help is better than a pound of preaching. Strong people don't put others down. They lift them up. We cannot do all the good the world needs now. The world just needs all the good that you can muster. Your compassion could break 100 chains of poverty. Spend for Allah Ta'ala's sake. Have hope in His reward. Support the Al-Fida Foundation in our every effort to lift people towards success and financial independence. Visit our website at www.alfida.co.za or give us a call at 041 484 1288.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
It's very interesting that Dr. Fatimah Lambat's parents encouraged that 5-year-old when she chose to have a stethoscope over and above a Barbie doll. That in itself is quite a lesson for parents, I think. And hats off to your parents and the motivation they've given you, the inspiration, the encouragement, and just supporting everything that you chose to do. And we must acknowledge that they've played an extremely important role in shaping your life, your career, the choices you've made. Alhamdulillah. So yeah, I just thought it necessary to acknowledge that.
Alhamdulillah, yeah, no, I'm very fortunate.
Before the break, it was about the question on male-dominated career, profession. On top of it, you did touch on being a hijabi Muslim woman working in that environment. What is it like?
I'm going to say it's very difficult. Even with COVID, when I came in, they told me to come in, but they thought what people think is when females come in, we sit on the sideline and maybe we'll just say yes, and we the doers, we the workers. You must remember, right. We're not the people who will give ideas, or we're not deemed to be people who give a woman who give ideas. And that I think is just more Indian culture than anything else. So it's very difficult. So even when I came with my plan, which I wanted to be done in the beginning of COVID, I was put down by most of the males and said, no, it's not going to work. Every idea that you have will say, no, that's not what we need. And I'm a very straightforward person, so I'll tell you this is exactly what used to happen to me. And of course, you do get despondent. But when you treat the community, when you look at the community, when you see that, so when the first COVID patient was turned back from Joburg because they had no treatment, then all the males in the community turned to me and said, can you go? And I just laughed and I said, yes, I'm going to go. And my sister cried that day. I remember because she was in maternity. She just gave birth and she's like, I wish I could come with you. And I was like, don't worry. And she's dressing me like how many layers. But I said, no, this is Allah's work. I'm not going to get sick. No one's going to get sick. We're going to do it for Allah. And so from that day, when I saw that the males actually turned to you to do the work, so you're going to give your ideas and you're going to do it. So even with the COVID center, the males who did not align with my values and my principles. I said, okay, then I won't work with you, and I'm going to work with people who do align with my values. And then you get males like Dr. Manga and Shoaib from Pulsate and Dr. Ibrahim Patel, who are so amazing, who don't care about whether you're male or female or whoever you are, but they just align with your principles, and they're like, yes, let's do it, let's do it. And then they encourage you, and then they come behind you, and then they give you that support. But it's very difficult. And then in my profession itself, especially to be someone, so I'm going to say it is the white males, especially, it's very difficult to be a hijabi in front of them, because uh, for you to speak, for you to give lectures, people feel that they're not going to take you seriously. So you not, so like you're the last one to be chosen. But things are changing, because it looks like we are trying to get into this environment where we're trying to make it easier for the future generation, because every person has their talent, every person has something that they have to offer, and they want to offer, and they want to be a part of it. So why not let everyone be a part of it? There's something that everyone can do. Not only one race, not only one people, not only non-hijabis. I also heard a comment where once where I was told that I was so scared for you to be a speaker because of the way you dress and the audience we have. But well done, you did well. But you will not tell that to a male or a white female. But
Right.
I will tell you as a white female that, oh my word, because of your openness and showing your openness, I'm worried about how people will perceive you. So I mean, you understand, but I don't say it.
Absolutely.
We should be tolerant, you know.
Hmm.
So it's very difficult. So you can understand from that one comment that I got
Right.
how I feel and how I felt, and I have to constantly prove myself. So Alhamdulillah, now I feel I'm in a better space because I've done that. I constantly have to prove myself. I constantly have to defend myself. Yes, my protocol is working, guys. My protocol is working. Why don't you just use it? We need to get the patient up. It's like I have to push and I have to defend. And I'm sure every female doctor feels like that. But Alhamdulillah, you just so what I do is I go, and this is something that I hope that the female doctors understand. You go in, and if the males, especially with our profession, we have a lot of male surgeons who are very authoritative, who think they. So you listen to what they say. You don't comment. You don't say, "I'm walking in here. I'm doing this for my patient, and I'm going to do what's best for my patient." And if someone is going to put you down, and if you feel that that is best for your patient, or that is best for your community or your goal, even in any other aspect of life, say no. This assertively, not rudely, politely, but assertively. I think this is best for this project. And I think this is what we need to try. And if it's not going to work, at least we have tried. And by just doing that, people will actually take your ideas, and you'll be able to um, to try and get your goal. But it's very difficult. You feel constantly like you're proving yourself. There's certain times where I did feel like giving up. There's certain times where you feel like I can't do this. I can't keep on saying no because of my hijab. Doesn't mean I'm stupid or an idiot or don't know how to speak. Because of my accent, yes, you can hear I'm from Lenasia, but doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm doing. It's very difficult. But also, an outlet is to speak to someone who you feel will be able to understand you, and they will be able to encourage you. And then that's how you'll be able to go on with life and try and help people and try and achieve your goals.
Have you at any point in your life felt that you failed or failed at anything?
Yes, a lot of times. A lot of times you feel that you fail, and you want to do more. Like, even as much as people think about the COVID and that, I still feel there's more that I could have done. And the one thing that I know that I feel like sometimes you feel like you fail your family because you are doing for the community. Like at the time when I was starting my COVID center, my husband and my kid had COVID, and I didn't give them attention. I can tell you that. So I think, like, you think you failed them. So there's a balance that you have to achieve. Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
And how did you manage to find a balance up to now? How do you find a balance, Dr. Fatima?
You have to so time management is important, but even that can be difficult. But the support that you have in your, like, I will never leave Lens because of the support I have in terms of my husband, my sisters, my parents. They all give me so much of support, so they help me. But now what I've done is try and give a lot of time to my family, and try and balance that. And I feel like, okay, this is the things that I need to do, and this is the time that I need to give to a certain thing. So this is my council that I need to be on. This is my work, and this is my family. At this point, so now I'm more assertive. I cannot, like in Ramadan, I've got people to cover me after 5 o'clock because I feel now this is for my ibadah and this is for my family. So now I'm no more that person who says yes for everything. I now have a plan and say this is the time for my family. I cannot have meetings after certain time in Ramadan. That I cannot have meetings after certain time for my family. I and even my work. So people are covering me after 5 in Ramadan because this is the time for my family and my ibadah. So you have to at some point understand that there are other things in life that you have to give priority to, but at the same time you don't have to you will be able to achieve your goals in terms of
Alhamdulillah. Now we've seen that, and in your experience, you've seen that doctors, your colleagues, even the multidisciplinary teams that were involved in the project, they all stepped up, and we found that the compassion, even from the ordinary person, just flourished at the time. And so we saw true human nature being, experienced in its reality at the time, post COVID. And now that we can talk about that in the past, Alhamdulillah, what what have you seen come out of that, and have people in fact continued in that spirit of giving?
I have seen a big change. I've seen a big change in terms of the way people treat each other, unity. I've seen now even more projects coming about, in terms of even before we used to give like in Ramadan, but now I see it out of Ramadan, where a lot of people are engaging with each other, even on a day-to-day basis, the way people are speaking to each other, that unity, that compassion. I think compassion has increased. I think mercy from us has increased, and I think people are more on I have goals where I need to help the community. How can I help? I think now because of COVID, a lot of people want to assist in every other way. And I think that's what COVID is, and it has brought a sense of unity in the community, which is unbelievable and unreal. And I think I can see it continuing. Yesterday, I saw so many of the people who helped us in the Nur al Islam. I'm talking of people who are not medical professionals or healthcare professionals, in the community. Yesterday in the malls, I've seen them, and we're all laughing and joking, and we're all united, and you can see that continuing, and I think inshallah this will never ever happen. But if anyone needs anything, or is in need of anything, or I think the community spirit will always be there.
That's so true. What are your views on the current healthcare system? Just to shift a little bit from our previous discussion. Yeah.
So I think we're overburdened. The healthcare system is overburdened and it's overstressed. And I always say that if I was in state, I would never be able to do for my community the way I did when I was in private. Because in private you get a lot more leeway. In state, because the healthcare professionals, the skills are less, the resources are less. And I think after COVID, it's gone worse. I don't have to talk about the economic environment of South Africa. We all know about the economic environment. I think, and a lot of people that are coming from other countries into our country, and we freely giving rein for. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm not talking. I'm not encouraging xenophobia or anything, but I'm just saying that we are not equipped in South Africa in terms of our infrastructure, in terms of our resources, to be able to help so many people. And because of that, a lot of people are not getting their medications, are waiting a long time in queues, are waiting a long time for simple surgeries. And that's it. And that is why we, a country where the community steps up to try and do this. So you will see a lot of initiatives, like I've seen a recent initiative for Rahima Musa, where they're trying to get donations so that they can revamp Rahima Musa. So it all comes from the community. And I think that's what South Africa is going to run by. We got the community and the country and the citizens of this country that is holding up the healthcare system. But the healthcare system is overburdened. The healthcare professionals in the healthcare in this government or state hospitals, you will find them rude, as people will say, but they're actually not rude. If you pull them out of that environment and try to decrease their stress, they're actually going to show you the same humanity and support as everyone else, because essentially that is why they chose the career. And it gets frustrating. So I left state because it got frustrating, because I felt I'm not doing anything for the community. All I'm doing is trying and getting people done, and like freeing people. But with what resources? We want syringes. We want, and a lot of it's not only me. A lot of doctors have moved away from state because they want to help their community, go into private, and they actually help the community in other ways. And I think a lot of people, a lot of doctors are doing that because they're getting frustrated that they cannot help their community, because they're not getting that support and from who they need to get that support from.
Now we know that South Africa is the most unequal country, one of the most unequal countries in the world, and it's very sad to see that just because you can't afford to get quality healthcare. And when I say quality, it doesn't mean that state hospitals don't have quality treatments. They absolutely they do, and then we have that gap of that privilege of being in private, and yet private also falters a lot. What do we do about that? Because no one, do we have recourse? When we have recourse, we don't step up. For whatever reason, but that needs to be questioned as well.
Yeah, both sides need to be questioned, because I always say, like in state, you have so many doctors coming and reviewing whatever health that you do here. So on one side, yes, that has to be questioned, especially in private, especially the doctors. You have a right to see which doctor is treating you, how they are treating you. You have a right to do that. But in the same breath, remember that there are many doctors who want to help you. So I've seen both sides of the where there is doctors who are there only for the money, and then I've seen the other side where there is doctors who will go out of their way, who will sit 45 minutes for a minimal amount of fee, but those patients will complain about those doctors. But the ones who will take 15 minutes and just go through the consult quickly, the patients are happy with that. So it's a mindset. It's the way human people think. So I think that also is also an imbalance and unequal in South Africa.
Right.
That's what I can say.
Right. Do you feel that we should actually be talking about this a bit more in terms of educating? Wherever you go, one sees the rights of patients, the chart is up. Do people actually address it in that vein, when they see that their rights are not being met?
And I think we should talk about it more often. I think it shouldn't come from a lawyer perspective. and I'm being honest about this, because there are a lot of adverts in that way, medical negligence. But so I think it shouldn't be from a lawyer's perspective, but I think it should be from a community perspective, from people and those that are healthcare professionals, to try and show people, educate people actually, to say what are your rights as a patient, and what do you, it's no more way you need to accept every single thing. But also, if there is a doctor who is going out of their way, who is compassionate, who you can see is compassionate, you can definitely go get a second opinion. But most doctors want to help you. But in terms of patients, also you need to also see that you are also getting the correct, especially in private, because you have a single doctor that is looking after you. You need to see that you are getting the correct treatment in that. But I, most of the doctors try, their utmost best. Yeah, but you have rights as a patient. It's
Right. And
actually a big topic, and it's something we can't cover in this interview. But I
that's
mean,
right.
we should get more.
Yes. In fact, I'd love to expand on it a bit more in one of my programs. However, while we have you here, let's just talk quickly about it. Patients are vulnerable, obviously, because of the state they're in. And I think that's when they put their full trust in the doctor that's treating them. And that's goes without saying that, that's when the doctor should be absolutely worthy of their trustworthiness, if you like. And that you and I can't talk about in terms of let's teach them this. But what we need to do is, as a patient, um, from a patient's point of view, you need to know that you can question anything you want. I don't think patients do that. From a doctor's point of view, you need to be able to answer those questions and not feel like you're in a position of authority and what I say, I know everything kind of thing. Because, there has to be that education, if you like.
The important thing, and this is something I do a lot in ICU, and like I heard, well, so what is the main thing? I understand doctors are busy. I'm very busy. So what I understood from my patient is the important thing is communication. So I had patients, my families, even in anesthetics, when I have long cases, I take their number and I have them on WhatsApp. The problem about with that is that doctors feel that, they're so busy and patients might trouble them. But
Right.
I found that the patients don't actually trouble me as long as I communicate with them. And what I used to do is give them a voice note maybe every second day to explain to them about their family member, because I think that's the main thing. Like, yes, this is what we are doing because of this, and this is what I think patients require, and this is what they need, because they have a right to understand why you are giving something, why are you doing something, what is happening. And I think the communication in private and even state is a problem, and it's an issue, because it's that fear, it's that communication. But why are you giving this medication? Why is this person on the drug? Why is this person having a tube through the nose? And if you explain to the family, explain to the patient, at least they'll be able to have more of an informed consent, but also more autonomy. Yes, that's the word I'm
Right.
looking for. More autonomy on their health, because it is their health. And if they don't, and it will give them an avenue to ask questions. And once you explain to patients, they don't actually ask that much questions.
Right.
I promise you, I've had so many patients in ICU, so many families in ICU, and all they said, okay, doctor, this. And they'd come to me also and say, but I Googled, or I went to another doctor, and this other doctor would say, no, you need to give this. And I'd say, okay. So the reason I would have given this is because of so and so and so, and the reason I wouldn't give this is because so and so and so. And then I'd say, and that is why in my practice I'm not giving this here. And patients understand that, because you
Okay.
understand your physiology and you understand why you're doing it for the patient. And I think that's very important from the doctor's point of view to
Correct.
speak to the patient, and very important from the patient's point of view to get the explanation of what's happening to them, and at least one family member to understand what's happening to their family, and that's very important, communication.
Right, indeed. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of this discussion. It's been wonderful to be in conversation with you, Dr. Fatimah Lambat. What words would you leave us with in terms of motivating and inspiring?
Always remember that whatever you do, no matter what religion you are, there's a higher being up there. Always remember, if you're going to do everything, even take one step in the name of that higher being, and we as Muslims say Almighty Allah, then you will be successful in every single thing of your life. And that's what I need to
And you live by. You can see that, alhamdulillah. May Allah accept all of your efforts, inshallah, and jazakallah khair for making time for us in your busy schedule, and continue to succeed and inspire, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah for having me.
It was our absolute pleasure. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
When we come back after the break, we find out if you can exercise during Ramadan.